Hello, and welcome back to the Hill to Evolve podcast, where I explore profound quotes and spiritual insights that help with growth and progression. I'm your host, Jennifer Herring. In this episode, I will discuss the concepts of entitlement and expectations and how they differ and manifest in our lives. From a spiritual view, the difference between entitlement and expectations is the intent and energy. Entitlement comes from a place of ego. There is an underlying belief that the world owes you something and that certain things should automatically go to you, often without putting in the work or having experience. People become mean spirited if their desires are unsatisfied because things are not going their way. Spiritually, entitlement brings on selfishness. When people feel entitled, gratitude is often lost. What they want supersedes being thankful for what they have already and blocks spiritual growth. We may resist life's valuable lessons when we feel entitled to specific outcomes. Often, our journey delivers what we need for personal development, even if it isn't what we believe we deserve. Letting go of entitlement allows us to embrace life's wisdom, trusting that every experience plays a role in our spiritual path. Spiritually, when people let go of entitlement, embrace humility, and serve, they align with spiritual truths, making them more rooted in giving than receiving. Entitlement breeds comparisons and resentment when things don't unfold as we wish, building barriers around our hearts. On the other hand, compassion allows our hearts to expand, reminding us that each person's journey is distinct and valuable. Spirituality encourages us to acknowledge everyone's inherent worth, fostering an environment of compassion over entitlement. Choosing compassion not only enriches our own lives, but also strengthens our connections with the divine. Spirituality teaches us to trust in divine order. We only sometimes know what we need and deserve. Recognize that life gives us what is necessary for our growth and which may not align with our current desires. Entitlement can be a significant obstacle to our spiritual growth and personal evolution. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of discontent, leading to frustration, disappointment, and resentment when our hopes are unmet. We may find ourselves questioning why life seems so unfair. Yet the truth is that life does not operate based on entitlement. Instead, it thrives on our ability to grow, align ourselves with our true purpose, and trust the universe's natural flow. Being enabled and pacified makes one feel entitled to another person's money. I remember a gentleman I would run into who was the father of a former schoolmate. He was a businessman and had done very well for himself. He told me one day that he had spoiled his children and that they were not appreciative. His son ran away from home at 16 because he would not buy him a car. Over the years, when I would encounter him in passing, he said he regretted his actions because they expected him to bail them out financially even into adulthood, and that he should have taught them how to stand on their own. Some people feel entitled to money simply due to family ties. I strongly disagree. Here is another situation. I had an ex who sent money to his nephew while he was in prison. When his nephew got out, he heard nothing and never got a thank you. Certain family members are simply trifling and do not care. Only claim money that you earn through your efforts. If someone is working but needs help budgeting their money, they must take the initiative to learn rather than depending on others to pick up where they slack off. Taking control of your finances leads to great sense of independence. Where's the integrity? Some individuals do not care about others' financial matters. If you got it, they want it. It is often just not about money. Many believe they have a right to your energy and time. Be cautious of those who might be energy vampires. Pay attention to how you feel. If you find yourself exhausted in their presence and energized when you're away, it is a sign that they are draining your energy. I have experienced this firsthand, and protecting your well being from such individuals is necessary. Expectations can be helpful and often limiting. Having expectations is not a bad thing. They can drive us and give us a sense of direction. The trouble starts when we begin attaching our happiness to the outcome. Disappointments come about when we rely on outcomes and behaviors from others. We risk our peace of mind by having our happiness depend on outside factors. And people ultimately become let down when it does not turn out in their favor. Our expectations can illuminate our beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. For example, expecting failure often reveals a more profound belief in unworthiness. By closely examining our expectations, we can uncover subconscious patterns and pinpoint our beliefs that may hold us back. Transforming limiting expectations into empowering ones is essential to unlocking our highest potential and achieving the success we deserve. Expectations must align with intention, not control. Spiritually, an intention is different from an expectation. Intentions are about energy, choices, and actions we take. In contrast, expectations involve outcomes we have no control over. It is best to focus on intentions that align us with purpose and leave room for things to happen in divine timing. While it's perfectly normal to have hopes and desires, embracing a realistic perspective, which enables us to savor the present moment without overly focusing on future expectations. This spiritual balance enhances our ability to appreciate life's gifts. It keeps us receptive to the surprises and valuable lessons that we might otherwise miss out on when we are fixated on what we expect to happen. One of the biggest mistakes people tend to make is placing expectations on others in their relationships. Spirituality motivates us to approach our relationships with acceptance rather than expecting another person to meet our desires. When we recognize that each person has a specific journey, we can release unrealistic expectations and accept them as they are, which leads to a healthier and more harmonious connection. When our expectations go unmet, it presents a significant opportunity for self-reflection and growth. Rather than succumbing to disappointment, we should consider why we held those expectations and what underlying needs and fears they might reveal. Cultivating this self-awareness empowers us and guides us towards inner fulfillment, freeing us from the need for validation from external situations. On my life path, I often felt disappointed in people, believing they would be kind in return if I was kind to them. I had a rude awakening. It was not a lack of naivete. Instead, it was not trusting my intuition when it came to certain individuals. I brought that on myself. My mistake was putting more faith in humans than in God. When we hold expectations from people, we risk losing our power. It is a challenging and valuable lesson to learn. And in retrospect, I realized the importance of readjusting my expectations by interacting only with those with whom I have a history of give and take on an emotional level. I've consistently shown respect and expect the same in return. No, I'm not perfect. However, I am committed to walking away from any space where I am not wanted or respected. Thank you for joining me on the Hill to Evolve podcast today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from this message. In the next episode, I will discuss healing. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at heal_to_evolve. You can always be better, do better, and become better with the resilience that inspires you to do so. Take care.